So did you notice a big difference in how thermals work in that
Oh,
area versus Alabama?
we didn't even bother with thermals in Alabama. You
Hmm.
know, I mean, when I grew, you got to remember, I grew up down there hunting in the 80s, early 90s, that type. Thermals weren't a big, huge thing back then, you know, like they are now. Everybody talks about thermals now, but I don't say you don't have to worry about it, but you really have to focus on thermals here in the mountains. Because it all play because you know your thermals are going to go up in the morning and they're going to drop in the afternoon. So
Hmm.
depending on where you're going to set up, um, you have to really put a lot of forethought into where your setup is going to be.
Hmm.
And what those thermals are going to do and what that inversion layer is going to do. And the wind direction in the mountains is just quirky. It can be, we've got a prominent northwest wind here. Um, but depending on where you are and how that wind is hitting the mountainside and hitting the ridges and everything, it can be coming from a totally different direction. My best friend is my little puffer that I use to check my wind directions because I can look at a map and I can say, okay, this is where I think the wind's going to come from, but I really don't know until I get to the sand and get set up, and make sure that that's the way it's coming. And your time of day, you got to look the thermals again, that type thing. So it's a big factor in the mountains.
Yeah, it is. I've done several elk hunts in Colorado, and that is one of the most mind-boggling things is the wind.
It is.
Just
It's
I mean, you get the idea. Once you get the idea of the thermals down, like okay, I kind of understand those that works, but just the wind. I couldn't tell you how many times the wind has blown a hunt for us on
yeah,
on animals, and we were set up good for it. At one moment we were good, but the next thing you know, it was. I'm like, what is going on? I
yeah,
can't.
yeah.
I
And
can't
and
watch.
I'll tell you this. I have gone to I have gone to s- I've got one permanent tree stand that I put up on my property. That's it. I mean, the rest of my stuff is portable blinds and climbers
Hmm.
because I just don't know with 100% accuracy what that wind's going to be doing once I get into the woods. So, I'm able to kind of move around a little bit. I do a lot of ground sitting, believe it or not. I've just got a chair that straps around a tree,
Hmm.
and I'll figure out the wind direction and go find a tree and strap it on there and just sit. I don't even sometimes I don't even bother with a tree stand, because you're constantly fighting wind up here. So
Yeah. Yeah, we run into that issue here a little bit. I mean, obviously, it's not as the thermals aren't as drastic as it is in mountains, but we got a little bit of elevation, but we also have like a lot of the drainages and it just the typical hill country type stuff you have to deal with, right? So
right,
wind is one of those factors that we deal with, and I'm with you. I got away from like a lot of the just the typical like hang stands, just leave them there. Couple of properties I have maybe one that I actually have hung that's still there. All the other, and then I've gotten into saddle hunting, so I everything goes in with me and everything comes back out with me. If I don't like where I'm at, I move to the next spot, and that has worked to my advantage more often than not.